Welcome to the last lesson in this short course. In lesson 1, we looked at our awareness of where we are in our life. Lesson 2, I started to identify how living with an addict has affected our lives in the present. In lesson 3, I spoke about hope and how you can achieve whatever it is that you're looking for. And in this lesson, we're going to be looking at how to put it all into action. Sound good? Hopefully it does. So we're going to get started. So as you know, nothing in our life will change without some sort of action. And we can keep telling ourselves that we need to do something. And before you know it, 5 years has passed us by. There's always going to be reasons, excuses and justifications about why we haven't done anything about it. Sometimes they are justified, but not always. As I explained in lesson 3, you may feel apprehensive about change. You may be looking forward to it because you're ready and you're fed up of going round and round and round in circles. I hope that you feel inspired and motivated, whatever it is that you need at the moment. You know that it's impossible to know the future, but we can do whatever we can to try and create the future that we want. In lesson 3, I explained how I've made massive changes to myself and my life. I've managed to overcome so many limiting beliefs and issues that I had. You can do it. Depending on your own experience and what you've tried so far, some of what I'm going to be suggesting to you in this lesson may just reinforce what you already know. For others, it will be new to you. So in any case, I hope that you learn something. Different techniques will be more relevant to different issues, so please pick what you like the sound of and just give it a go. Sometimes you may try something and it just kind of doesn't really feel right, or you can't really get into it for whatever reason. What I will say is this: don't lose faith. Simply move on to something else. In the past, I've tried so many different things over the years, and some worked when I started and some didn't. But I have tried them since and they've really helped me. So kind of don't write off something forever just because it doesn't work for you now. Try it again in the future. To be honest with you, I think it is all about timing. So just be open, really, is what I'm saying. I remember reading a book called Women Who Love Too Much, which I highly recommend. So if you get yourself a copy, I think that you will enjoy it. It's really insightful. Anyway, so a number of years later, I went to see my therapist and he recommended the same book. I said to him, I've already read this. But he said, oh, okay, you don't have to read it. And I said, no, it's okay, I'll read it again. I can't tell you in words how much this started to change my life. This is when I started to get into Al-Anon meetings. So why didn't it have the impact years before? So again, I guess it just wasn't either I wasn't in the right place or it just wasn't the right time for me. And I may not have recognised or thought I needed to go to Al-Anon and just wrote it off, and felt like it wasn't really relevant to me. So that's why it's important to be open and to try things again. Al-Anon is an amazing support group for families of alcoholics, in case you didn't know what it was. It's made up of people that have been affected by somebody else's drinking. So everybody supports each other in the group. No one gives advice and there is no judgment. Everybody's in the same boat. Whilst everyone's experiences are different, the characteristics they've developed are the same. But the one thing I would recommend if you want to feel connection and understood is to go to an Al-Anon meeting. It's just amazing for that. I wanted to mention the technique I talked about in lesson 2, journaling. You may know that it's really helpful to get things out of your head, and as I said before, if you're an overthinker, you could probably do with a bit of respite, a bit of quiet in your head. So I think it's important actually to find a really nice, pretty book or whatever you're into, and then just start writing and have it by your bed or wherever convenient for you. So, you know, if it is by your bed, it could be handy. If you can't sleep, then you can just jot things down and then just leave it in the book till the next day. Or if you prefer, you can always use like an audio recorder on your phone. Most phones have them, and just record what you need to say. Again, it's just to kind of get it out of your head. Then next, I would recommend getting some really good self-help books. I loved Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by a lady called Susan Jeffers. She's amazing. There's A Gift to Myself by Charles L. Whitfield, which is another great book. Women Who Think Too Much, of course, is a really good book. And my own book, Transition. I learnt a fantastic technique some years ago, and after everything I've done, it's by far one of the best techniques. It's simple to use and you can do it on yourself. It works with both the physical body and your emotions, which I think is really important because the two are interconnected. And I think it works a lot faster than normal talking therapy, so if you don't want to do talking therapies, it's a great tool to use. So the tool I'm referring to is called Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's also known as EFT for short. It's a tapping technique which uses the meridian points around the body, and you just tap on them like I'm demonstrating here with your fingertips. So it's the same meridian points an acupuncturist would use, but we don't use needles, we use our fingertips. And you just repeat these, saying a phrase. I'd also recommend something called the Havening technique, and it's designed to change the brain to de-traumatise memories and remove its negative effects from both our psyche and our body. And again, this technique you can do on yourself. And I've created a couple of demonstrations of both EFT and the Havening technique, and you can take a look at those on my YouTube channel. And it will talk you through all of the different points, which is really easy to follow. Mindfulness is commonly talked about now, but when I started years ago, it wasn't quite as popular. So sitting in a space and allowing ourselves to just be is so valuable. I know it can be challenging if you like to be busy, like I do. Sitting with quiet and trying not to think seems like a really difficult task. The thing is, you just accept that your thoughts are coming, you don't try and stop them, and you just simply sit quietly and just let the thoughts come as they're going to. There's no point fighting it because they're going to come whatever. So just let them come and then just acknowledge them. Say, yeah, I hear you, I just want you to pass by. And just ask them to leave. So how long you choose to do that is entirely up to you. What one lady suggested in my meditation group was that she started with just 10 deep breaths first of all, which she found really helped her. Or you could do like 2 minutes and work your way up. So as I've mentioned before, you can just start small and then work your way up to things. You don't have to go full on into it. Lastly, I would recommend talking to someone you trust, a friend, family member, but someone you know that you can open up to. I know that living with an addict creates a lot of shame and guilt, and as a child you're not taught to speak to others. But we're not children anymore, and it's okay to open up to other people. Remember, you can't know and assume how someone else will react to what you say. Give them an opportunity to show you empathy and compassion. Showing our vulnerabilities allows us to be more relatable to people. What I would say is that some people don't know what to say to help, but often you probably just want to be heard. So you can say to them before that you start talking, just reassure them that you aren't looking for answers, but for them to just be able to talk and express your thoughts and feelings, because it's hard for those that haven't been through what we have to totally understand. But hopefully they can offer you some empathy, which is so much better than sympathy. My journey of transformation has been ongoing since I started some 20 years ago. That's because I was seeking a lot of change. I felt I was broken and I wanted to fix myself. I'm now in the best place I've ever been, and all the hard work has been worth it. I feel better about myself, more self-assured and confident in my own skin. I can cope with situations much better than I ever have, and all of this is possible for you too. I hope you found these 4 lessons interesting, and I do hope they've opened your eyes to the impact of living with an addict, but also how you can overcome past issues so that you have the life that you deserve. If you'd like to progress from this course, then I'd suggest getting a copy of my book Transition, if you haven't read it already. Alternatively, you can look at my Pick and Mix modules, which cover a range of key topics relevant to those that have been affected by somebody else's addiction. You'll gain clarity, feel connected, get answers so that you can make sense of the things that have been a mystery for so long. You can feel happier, calmer, and develop your own self-confidence and self-esteem, and learn how to look after you in the best possible way. Through my experiences and skills, I share with you what took me over 20 years to learn. I'm continually adding to my knowledge and growing all the time. So as I do this, I share this with you. I want you to have the very best information possible. I hate doing things the long way round. I just want to get to the chase and fix the problem and then move on. Are you the same? Do you just want everything to be okay so that you can live drama-free? If you're ready now, take the next step and buy a copy of the book, or take a module of your choice. I've created them individually to make them more flexible to fit with what you need right now. The modules include videos, quizzes, audios, and practical workbooks. I've covered a range of different learning styles so that something will fit in with how you prefer to learn. I want to inspire and motivate as many people as possible that change is possible, and it doesn't have to be hard work, but it is so worth it. I wish you the very best in your journey. May it begin or continue here.